Hey everybody, it's Eugene, the Dungeon Master for the Long Strange Cantrips March of Progress campaign. I'm looking exceptionally beardy today. We are a D&D live play group, other RPGs as well. You can catch us every other week playing live on twitch.tv/longstrangecantrip, and here on our YouTube channel, you can follow us for recaps, for the actual sessions themselves, for DM notes, and other content as well. I urge you to follow us on twitch.tv/longstrangecantrip so you can get updates when we go live with D&D or other gaming content and other RPG content as well, and to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can know when we update the channel. This update, which is a recap of our previous session, the concluding session of the first adventure, I would say, that the party has finished, is coming a little late. We had a little bit of a technical glitch, but I think we are about to catch up, and our next session is going to happen this weekend, as the parties do maybe a little shopping and definitely a little leveling up as we move on to level 4 and the next phase of their adventure. So, with all that aside, off to the recap. We began with our heroes catching their breath and recuperating after a harrowing battle, fending off Duchess Ethelyn's rebel soldiers at the seawall to the Axis Island fortress, which was grinding open ever so slowly, seemingly at a snail's pace, to allow in the Risuri naval forces poised to retake the island from the Duchess. The Navy was able to enter just at the nick of time, thanks to the party's efforts, just as an insurmountable wave of rebel troops advanced on the lighthouse, where the party was holed up. The Navy having secured the harbor, the group now had a brief moment to recharge, take a short rest. While trying to enjoy a moment's rest, Ume, the party's lovable kobold companion, began to feel a longing sensation, almost rising to the level of a physical pull, unlike anything they had felt before. Following this feeling, Ume was drawn to the corpse of the pseudo-dragon that the party has just defeated in the lighthouse. This creature felt like more kin than foe, it seemed to Ume. And to engender a sense of closure, the party engaged in a makeshift burial ritual for the pseudo-dragon, though Dipnip's psionic powers almost failed him as he carried the corpse out to sea and it sort of fluttered into the water. Though the pseudo-dragon rather unceremoniously fell into the harbor, Ume managed to shake off the debilitating feeling, at least for now. Meanwhile, Egberticus felt rather disturbed at the sighting of the mysterious creature shrouded in smoke and wielding a flaming sword. He'd heard of similar beings in the cautionary tales of the Pontonian Church, warning believers not to cross the Fae, lest they draw the ire of this harbinger of vengeance. But he could not remember any more. Not used to his religious knowledge failing him, Egberticus resolved to get to the bottom of this mystery and banish the unholy spirit. Ekthos, meanwhile, busied himself further with technological tinkering, optimizing his exoskeleton for infiltration and sneaking. He also began the work of reconstructing Mekthos of its tragic destruction at the hands of the wandering, headless, witch oil-leaking automaton that they encountered on the island. During this brief pause in the action, the party was pulled aside by Captain Rucker Smith of the Impossible. With his typically amiable demeanor, Smith brought up that one member of the party's predecessors, the Fox Team 4, was found decapitated. Captain Smith suspected that Brackus did this, albeit not necessarily for nefarious reasons. Still, Smith holds himself forth as a potential source of confidence or counseling one soldier to another. Brackus vehemently declined, denying that he had done anything wrong, and Dipnip declined sort of as a matter of principle, not being one for soulful conversation and introspection. Before long, the party is asked to resume their duties as the senior non-military leaders of this expedition. It seemed that the fortress's brig had been discovered by the Risuri forces, and it was now full of Denoran prisoners captured by rebel forces and placed in the brig during the Duchess's assault. The Risuri Navy now had really no idea what to do with these captives, whether to free them, leave them jailed, or something else entirely. On the way to the brig, the party took note of the rather fraught state of the fortress. An ongoing siege, the second one in a week, left the structures compromised and the supplies rather strained. Once disabused of the notion that the correct path was one of torture, Dipnip and Brachus seemed to have been learning that this is not the way that things are necessarily always done. The party figured out that among the prisoners was one senior officer, respected by the men, a proud Denoran, in no way willing to compromise his anger at the Risuri rebels for an easy chance at freedom. But in this case, the party and the officer determined that their aims were one and the same, to rid the island of the rebels and return it to Denoran control. So, as such, the party agreed to let the Denorans go and even to rearm them as a sign of good faith. Just as they were concluding the parley with this officer, the whole building began to shake in response to a disturbance outside. The figure from before, flaming and cloaked in cinders and smoke, had made his way to the interior fort, close to the brig. With the aid of some magic device, the figure appeared to bend reality itself, causing the interior wall to disappear before their very eyes, and clearing the way through the hedge maze surrounding the central tower and toward the tower itself. The path he made tore through reality, substituting a portion of the wall for a portion of the strange psychedelic landscape that the party had experienced for a brief moment on their journey across the island. In an instant, the figure was gone, having launched the Risuri rebel defenders on top of the wall into the air, and the party had to quickly determine how best to make their way to the Duchess while avoiding this powerful being, if they could. Rather than risking a path through the dimensional rift that this figure created, the party took a more practical approach, following one of the Denoran prisoners through a secret sanitation channel that led them to the bottom of the tower. The party entered and climbed the tower, noting from an upstairs window, a higher vantage point, that the surrounding hedge maze had been set aflame, likely by the otherworldly assailant, who also seemed to climb the tower with their bare hands and rip out masonry at a whim. Once they arrived at the top, the party stood before the central chamber, overhearing a conversation. It seemed that the figure was named Azrabe Varal, a figure known to the Duchess, who was somehow affiliated with the Unseen Court, the known de facto ruling body of the Dreaming, the Fey Realm, in a parallel land to Risur. He wanted to somehow express the court's disapproval for the Duchess's actions, and she swore that what she did would be best for both Risur and the court, because Danner planned to destroy them all. A third individual was also in the room, and revealed that he had seen Azrabe's relative, Casavarina Varal, when she came several months ago to inspect the island facilities, and he had been in charge of some of them. Despite this connection, Varal was unrelenting and prepared to kill them both. Before doing so, Varal opened the door from the central chamber and discovered the party. He demanded that they leave, and when they did not, he struck the Duchess a seemingly fatal blow. He tried to escape the room, almost impervious to the party's attacks and attempted intervention, and then leaped off the tower in the direction of the fortress's teleportation device, the teleportation chamber that had been set up there, and seemingly escaped. Dip-Nip used his powers to revive the Duchess, and the party quickly questioned her and the remaining Denoran man, who they discovered was Nathan Jair, the cousin of Leah Jair, who Leah had asked them to rescue. Nathan and the Duchess revealed that they were operating together to stifle a Denoran plan, which Nathan had uncovered as part of his work on the island. His research showed that they were creating some sort of destructive or potentially cataclysmic device through their research, although he didn't yet know more. And he involved the Duchess because he knew that she would be sympathetic to his concerns. The Duchess seemed rather resigned to her fate and punishment at the hands of her brother, King Aedan, the king. But Nathan begged not to be returned to Danor because he knew he would be revealed as a traitor and killed summarily. And more importantly than that, he would not be able to continue his research to forestall Danor's plans and attempt to somehow divert them. As the party walked back to the harbor with Ethelyn and Nathan, they decided to hide Nathan, disguising him as a soldier and putting him on a flint-bound ship, instructing him to seek refuge with the Pentonian Church, under the condition that he continue his research and try to at least discover, if not stop, the Denoran war plans, if any such plans existed. Leah came to the harbor, but was unable to see anything was amiss thanks to Dip-Nip's able deception. It was only made possible through his Deva ability, the memory of 1,000 lifetimes. It was a very close roll. With that, all that was left was the party's signature on a treaty returning the land of Axis Island to Denoran control and disclaiming any Risuri claim as a result of this incursion by the rebels. Of course, the document did need to be signed by an entity name, and after some argument and consideration, the party settled on yogurt, owing to their reliance on blessed milk for sustenance during this trying operation. And that was the session. With that, the party advanced to level 4 and took off for Flint. I really enjoyed this first adventure, and I hope you did as well. To catch up with us and follow along live, to participate in the story, catch us on twitch.tv/longstrangecantrip, join our Discord, the link to which you'll find below, and subscribe here for more. The DM notes for the concluding several sessions of the first adventure should be up later this week, and we'll be playing live this weekend. We hope to see you there. Until then, may your rolls be 20s and your misses few.